My name's Mark Walmer. I'm a lawyer with 35 years of experience in Pennsylvania. My practice has been in Lancaster County. I've been a trial room attorney for 35 years, and now my practice is limited to helping people clear criminal records through the use of pardons and expungements. Why does the pardon process take 2 years? So the simple answer is it takes 2 years because the board is made up of 5 people. One is the lieutenant governor, and currently the existing lieutenant governor is running for a Senate seat. Also, Attorney General sits on the board. Currently it's Josh Shapiro, who's running for governor of Pennsylvania. The third person on the board is Harris Gubernick, who is on the Department of Corrections, representing the state correctional department, obviously. Dr. Williams is the board psychiatrist, and there is also a victim witness advocate who reviews the pardon applications to weigh in from the victim's point of view. And they get together a couple of times every other month and they review hundreds of applications. There is no way to speed it up. I have been offered money to expedite somebody's pardon, and I have to tell them the only expedited process is if you have a marijuana charge. The board will try to review it in as little as a year, but no amount of money is going to get you to jump the line in any way other than the application's filed, the board preps it, works it up, investigates it, and you take your place in line. The brief overview of the pardon process and who should seek one. Well, anyone with a misdemeanor or felony conviction should seek a pardon or at least know what's on their record and when they're a good candidate. That's what I do. I'll review your record and tell you when is a good time to think about filing a pardon. A good question is, how do I know if I'm eligible for a pardon? The eligibility question is hard to answer because there are no rules. The process that I've already talked about, explaining why the crime occurred, what you've done with your life since then, and why you're a good candidate for a pardon, is the eligibility criteria. So if you have a great story for why the crime occurred, what you've done with your life since then, and how the record's holding you back, then you're a good candidate and you should pursue the process. Who is not a good candidate? I just committed a violent felony 3 years ago and I'm still on parole. I don't think that's a good application. I think you want to get off parole for 5 or 10 years and be able to show how you've turned your life around before you apply for a pardon. I'm saying that the criteria is, what's your story? What happened? What have you done with your life since then? How's the record holding you back? So the board weighs the severity of the offense against the amount of time that has gone by and your explanation for what happened and when. And that is what they base their votes on. Here's a good question. Will I automatically get a hearing before the Board of Pardons? The answer is no. We talked about how you have to get at least 2 votes out of the 5, or the rules say you have to wait a year and you can ask again. So you don't automatically get a hearing. You're also not automatically denied. It all goes back to the story. Why did the crime occur? What have you done with your life since then? And how is the record holding you back? What happens during the Board of Pardons interview process? Since COVID, and actually since Lieutenant Governor Fetterman and the revamped pardon process, they're opening most of the public reviews by saying, do you yield your time to the board so that we can ask you questions? And the correct answer is yes, I do. Then the board will see if they have any questions. Now, the sweetest questions you can hear are none. I have no questions. I have no questions. Board member 3, I have no questions. Board member 4, I have no questions. Board member 5, I have no questions. Thank you. That's sweet. Why? They don't have any questions. Frequently, what I will hear is somebody who explains the crimes that occurred when they were using drugs, and a couple of different board members will want to know, how did you get sober? How did you get clean? What's your clean date? What are you doing to maintain your sobriety? How big is your support system? How do we know you're not going to relapse? What happens during a background investigation? a parole officer calls and first they send a letter and they say these are the things that we're going to be wanting to talk to you about, and you're given a couple of weeks to get ready for that information. They might want to know if you're employed or not. They do not contact your employer, to my knowledge. They might want to know if you rent or own your house. They want to know who you're living with. They'd be interested in whether you're married or not. It is sort of a thorough investigation. They really seem to want to make sure that you're financially stable, since frankly being financially poor is a good indicator of committing criminal offenses in order to try to survive. But basically they send you a list of what it is they want to know about, give you a chance to prep for it. If I'm representing you, I also give you a phone call and we sit down and go over what's required and how to get ready for it. And then my clients call me back after the interview to tell me how it went, and I make notes. Can the governor overrule the Board of Pardons? Absolutely. The governor, we don't even know who it's going to be yet. The governor does not have to issue a pardon. Governor Wolf has issued hundreds of pardons, actually several hundred every year. And Lieutenant Governor Fetterman, the chairman of the Board of Pardons. For 8 years, it has been an absolutely wonderful pardon process. They've streamlined the process. They've lowered the barriers to getting in. There's not even a filing fee anymore. They've simplified the pardon form. It's just been a great 8 years plus to go through this process. I think the governor, whoever's elected, is going to continue this process. I think the lieutenant governor, whoever's elected, will probably be proud and honored to sit on the board and continue the hard work that has been done. You need to know what's on your record. Everything begins with getting criminal record research to see what's on your record and what can be cleared and when through the use of pardons and expungements. So go to recorderacer.net, give me your first name, last name, date of birth, so I can try to find your record and tell you what can be cleared and when. It's where it all starts.